What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Twin Wrestle Pod. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Now, the title of the video is Wrestling is Lacking. And how can that be at the greatest time of all, the biggest time for pro wrestling in general? We're in WrestleMania weekend. It benefits a lot of other promotions. When I say wrestling is lacking, I'm talking about the television product in terms of building of things. Both AEW and WWE is what I'm going to be discussing during this video. We're going to be discussing WWE's WrestleMania build and the underwhelming feel it has revolving around almost every match that's listed to take place on both night 1 and night 2. And we're going to also discuss AEW. AEW has diminished their value as of recent with this whole angle with a certain group and a certain person holding their crown jewel of their company, which is the World Heavyweight Championship. And also with the finishes of their pay-per-views as of recent. This particular angle is bringing down a lot of stuff in AEW from the IWC's point of view and most all of the fans. We're engaged in a lot of stuff, so if you're interested in that stuff, make sure to stick around for the whole video, and let's get into the video of why wrestling is lacking. Let's start with WrestleMania 41. Although WrestleMania 41 is the biggest time of the year for both WWE and other promotions that surround WWE, whether it be indie shows, other rival competitors, or their developmental brand NXT, WrestleMania 41 is lacking in building everything when it comes to the storylines, getting the fans invested in what the storylines have to offer for the most part, and by it repeating WrestleMania 2000 with multi-woman matches and multi-man matches, multi-tag team matches being discussed. So it's feeling very little like a WrestleMania feel that we are used to. No, it wasn't on the top WrestleMania last year's build because you had a super juggernaut and one of the greatest wrestlers of all time to return in The Rock. So it wasn't going to compete with that mantle. But to come out here and show a lackluster effort in building stories for the most part when it comes to these matches, or the superstars selling these matches to you from a fan perspective with the amount of money they charge you to go to these shows, is astronomical. So let's get into WrestleMania 41, right? Exhibit 1, we have Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton coming off really bad so far. These two women so far have shown the lack of chemistry with one another and have come off very awkward with one another in each one of their interactions they have had it up to this point. Whether you want to go back to a couple weeks ago when they had the split screen face to face, where Tiffany could barely get a word in without Charlotte overtaking the segment and talking over her and just glossing over more points that Tiffany had to make during the segment. Tiffany had a spot on point where she said everything that gains fire, Charlotte tries to come back through and extinguish it. Was a good point because everything Charlotte comes in contact with, she tried to overrule it and take over because she's the queen, per se, right? So let's get on to their recent interaction in Chicago on SmackDown, where they had a face-to-face altercation where Charlotte could not get a word in because the Chicago crowd was booing her out of the building, and it shook her to the point to where she had to go down to low blows to Tiffany. This segment was so awkward, they proceeded in going personal with Tiffany striking Charlotte with the 0-3 line, referencing her divorces. And no matter how many championships she's going to win, she's always going to play second fiddle to her father, not only in the ring, but outside of the ring as well. And that line kind of burned Charlotte because Charlotte had to retort and ask Tiffany why her significant other, Ludwig Kaiser, was still in her DMs. This segment was so piss poor, it was done so poorly, they went off script. During the segment, Charlotte was stalking as Tiffany was trying to find a line she was using. And she got heat for it backstage because Charlotte is the tenured. Tiffany has only been in this thing for 3.5 years. With Charlotte being a veteran with over 10 years worth of experience, she had the bulk of the heat for the segment. And I was one to vouch for this match as it was getting built or being rumored to happen. There's nothing going to be off about the match. I'm sure they're going to have a pretty good, amazing match, as in most cases with this whole entire show. The show is going to be awesome. We all know that. But it's the part of building the story and giving the viewer interest in watching the product and the matches that we're going to see at WrestleMania. I know these two women are going to have a classic because they're both athletic and they come from great backgrounds. But their story is just not making me invested into watching their match. It's just not. Hopefully they can come up with some better in these next few weeks to get me more inclined to watch their match at WrestleMania. As of right now, we just ready to get straight to the match. No story, nothing is being told in a proper way for me to invest myself into watching their products on live television until we get to WrestleMania. So we'll see what they come up with. But Exhibit A, Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton, is one of the main reasons why WrestleMania Bill is feeling lackluster, because it's a championship match. Let's get on to Exhibit 2. Exhibit 2. The women's three-way at WrestleMania, Bianca Belair taking on Rhea Ripley, taking on Io Sky. This match isn't interesting to me because the reason it came about is because the former champion took her eye off the ball, paying attention to someone outside of the match instead of the individual she should be paying attention to inside of the ring, and losing. That being a woman that we all love and cheer for, Rhea Ripley. Her not paying attention to Io Sky cost her the match. And that's out of character for Rhea Ripley to do. She was too busy worrying about Bianca clapping for Io at ringside and not taking that time focusing on Io when she had her ready for the kill. Instead, she came out there to confront Bianca outside of the ring, giving Io time to recover, and as she went for her maneuver on the top rope, the Riptide backfired, Hurricanrana, and Io Sky picked up the win and became a new women's world champion. It shocked the whole world. It shocked the people, including the people inside of the building. They didn't have no reaction because they were shocked and surprised that Rhea Ripley lost this close going into WrestleMania. But she couldn't blame nobody but herself. She the one took her eye off the ball. She the one that focused on her opponent, and she lost her championship because of it. So what did WWE decide to do to come up to build this three-way matchup? Let's have Rhea Ripley, the former champion, come out there and complain how Bianca cost her the match. Bianca didn't cost you the match. You decided to go out there and confront Bianca because she was clapping. How stupid does that sound when you're building a matchup? How stupid does that make your character look when building a matchup? And you lost because of that stupidity. So yeah, every time it was a contract signing on Monday Night Raw between Io Sky and Bianca Belair, here comes Rhea Ripley to come out there and interrupt the contract signing, and not officially, but put her name on a contract after both Io and Bianca signed it. Each week after, she attacked both Bianca and Io. Each week, complaining to whoever and whomever will listen that Bianca cost her the championship match when she lost. If that don't speak like a true heel, I don't know what is. So this match came about because Rhea Ripley complained. And because she complained so much, she had a rematch for the championship. And she decided to do in that very rematch, kick Bianca. She had the match won, but yet Bianca was out there sold because you kicked her. She was outside of the ring selling the injury because you kicked her. And it resulted in a double DQ. So Rhea Ripley can't blame nobody but herself for this matchup coming the way it came. Okay, it could have been Rhea. It could have been Rhea versus Bianca, but nope. Rhea Ripley's stupidity cost her the match. Now let's get on Bianca Belair for a second, right? A woman who has done nothing wrong but state facts and tell the truth. A woman who has done nothing wrong besides win her chamber match to get her guaranteed shot at WrestleMania. She went through hell and high water just to get that match at WrestleMania. She earned her spot. So she has her rights to feel like Rhea, just because she's Rhea Ripley, she can get ushered into this match. That's not how it works. But yet, we have an incompetent GM, Adam Pearce, who needs to stay off the whiskey or whatever he's drinking, vodka, whatever it is. Stay off the liquor and book a competent program. He decided to put Bianca Belair in a rematch between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley as the special guest referee when she literally sat there and told him she did not ever referee, not once. But he said she had a week to figure it out. And what did you expect to happen? We got a result in a double DQ. That man needs to stay off the liquor and the alcohol, okay? So what do the fans do? They boo Bianca Belair for telling the truth and stating what Bryan Danielson has always said about the pro wrestling fans. Exactly my point. Let's get on Io Sky, a woman who has done nothing wrong besides win the championship that Rhea Ripley just handed to her by not paying attention in the championship match at that. So Io Sky has done nothing wrong. As far as I'm concerned, it should be Io Sky versus Bianca Belair because Rhea Ripley took her eye off the ball and cost herself the championship match. But no, just because she's Rhea Ripley and she has to be on the show, we usher her in there. It doesn't make any sense from a logical perspective. Sorry, I just don't. And this is one of the reasons why WrestleMania 41's build is very lacking as well. And Exhibit 3. The biggest of all biggest reasons why WrestleMania 41 is feeling underwhelming. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes is really a hit or miss situation, to be honest. Because we got one if not the biggest turn in pro wrestling history, with John Cena turning heel and aligning himself with The Rock at Elimination Chamber and turning on Cody Rhodes and beating Cody Rhodes to a bloody pulp. After John Cena solidified his spot by winning the Chamber match and challenging Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship. And with the recent European tour they just had, Cena was on every Raw. Him and Cody were face to face for all of those European Raw shows. John Cena failed to give a reason. I'm not even going to say John Cena. WWE failed to make Cena give a reason for aligning himself with The Rock. Because all the things The Rock was listening to Cody when he was trying to recruit Cody to be his champion, John Cena has already done. John Cena has billions of followers on social media, whatever you want to call it. John Cena is starring in movies. He even starred in a movie alongside with The Rock himself. He's done all that stuff. So why not give him a reason to align himself with The Rock? At least explain himself why he aligned himself with The Rock. He had 3 opportunities to do it. Although I believe, like I made a previous video about John Cena, he made up some great points of why he turned heel at Elimination Chamber. They just didn't hit a home run with everything. First week, he declared that he was breaking up with the fans, which was awesome. There was one reason why he turned heel. What did John Cena do the next week? He pretty much retorted the same thing, but just added he was going after number 17. That was the only time he mentioned him going after number 17. Instead of that, he just retorted the same promo he had previously. And that one brought out Cody Rhodes for each and one of these promo exchanges with John Cena. First one, Cody Rhodes said he don't want this John Cena to show up at WrestleMania because the John Cena's going to lose. Fine. Second promo exchange, very forgettable. Very forgettable. But they hit a home run in their third and final exchange on Monday Night Raw when these two went back and forth. So it's a little bit of 50-50 here. Give me what I want in the final exchange. Like I said in my review when I reviewed that Monday Night Raw, they booked that show like they know that was going to be John Cena's last show he was going to be on in a face-to-face promo exchange with Cody, where John Cena called Cody his chauffeur, and Cody Rhodes told John Cena, "Don't act like you left this place better than when you found it." Referencing Vince McMahon, who chose who? The fans chose Cody. The fans didn't choose John Cena. The corporates in the suit and one man who ran it that we can no longer talk about chose you. That was a home run segment by these two. And they got physical towards the end. So they gave us a good percentage, a half of John Cena turned heel. But they didn't explain nor show the main person who wanted people to go heel and be their champion in the first place, which is The Rock. John Cena gave us no reason to why he wanted to align himself with The Rock. Even though Rock listed what he was, his accomplishments or what he was willing to offer to help the person who became his champion. We didn't get no explanation from John Cena. Now, John Cena's not going to be here no time soon. It was recently reported he's going to be on the last SmackDown before WrestleMania, but that don't really count because it's in Vegas. Okay? Typically, main event spotlight matches you have to build on a week-to-week basis. We haven't seen John Cena attack Cody yet. We haven't seen John Cena get the upper hand on Cody yet. All we seen was John Cena leave the ring and get planted with a crossroads. I just don't get that. Other than John Cena telling Cody he just spend billionaires' kids' money. Outside of that, there's nothing. And it's very underwhelming given the superstar, the icon that John Cena is. For him to turn heel is a monumental moment after all these decades of being a babyface. And we get him doing nothing heel related besides speaking on a mic. Yeah, Cena can say we know how good he is on a microphone, but we need to see him do something dastardly to somebody leading up to WrestleMania. Particularly Cody, because that's the guy he's going to main event the show with in the first place. Give me a reason to boo John Cena, outside of him just talking and throwing jabs here and there. But they did none of that. Now we're going to see what's going to happen on that final SmackDown before WrestleMania in Las Vegas. But we still have 3 more shows before that. We have a show of SmackDown Friday night. We have a show Monday Night Raw, and then we have the show in Vegas. John Cena's going to be on neither of them besides the one in Vegas. So this WrestleMania is just hit or miss, particularly John Cena and Cody Rhodes. Matchup is very hit or miss because it's centered around the main crown jewel of the company, which is the WWE Championship. And it don't feel like a championship match. I feel like WWE could have got much more out of this matchup with Cody and Cena. But with Cena's limited schedule, you can't do too much, I guess. So, WrestleMania 41 is very underwhelming at the moment. All these multi-man and women matches. It's for the birds. The 3 matches I stated in this video: Charlotte, Tiffy, Bianca, Rhea, Io, Cena, and Cody. Those 3 matches play a huge part in why this WrestleMania is feeling very lackluster. Now, let's talk about AEW. AEW is going to be a fairly quick one because it's all centered around one thing. Exhibit A. Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. Back in October of 2024 at Wrestle Dream, Jon Moxley turned on Bryan Danielson and defeated him for the AEW World Championship. And since October of 2024, every single match with the Death Riders, including Jon Moxley's World Championship matches to be specific, have ended with Wheeler fucking Yuta interfering in the majority of these matches and helping Jon Moxley win. This storyline was picking up legs at the beginning. A lot of storylines, a lot of rumors. Who was going to be a part of the Death Riders? Who was Jon Moxley talking about? It's bigger than him. This, that, so forth and the other. But we got none of that. We got no surprises. We just got the same thing over and over and over. This group is doing nothing for AEW. I'm sorry, as much as Tony Khan wants them to do for AEW, is doing nothing to make the product better. It's the same lame finish over and over again. No matter how many times you want to put Wheeler Yuta in the fucking main event of a television show, that guy doesn't hit. I'm sorry, he just don't. So at this point, it's getting particularly go away heat. In other instances, good heat, bad heat, as long as you're getting heat would be the thing. But in this instance, go away heat for the Death Riders. That's all it is. And it is trickling down to the IWC. People are getting pissed about AEW. People do not want to watch AEW, specifically for this Death Riders angle that's been having a stranglehold since October. Now, we have got to AEW Revolution, where Jon Moxley defended his AEW World Championship against Cope. And that was one of the most horrendous matches in AEW history. Like, they try to fit 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. This Death Riders angle sucks ass. Is one of the worst angles in pro wrestling history because it does nothing for nobody involved. I just recently saw a fucking clip of them beating every single babyface. Every top babyface that gets a reaction, the Death Riders is just run right through them. Whether it's Hangman Adam Page, Swerve Strickland, Cope, Bryan Danielson, the man he beat to take the championship, Orange Cassidy, Jay White. All these guys have fallen victim to the Death Riders. Every single last one of these guys. No matter how much you build these guys up, they're just going to be built up to lose. So we get to AEW Dynasty, and when I'll get on these pay-per-views in just a moment, it's the last point I'm going to make because I always hammer it every time I review a pay-per-view from AEW. We get to AEW Dynasty. The show starts at 8 o'clock, and it doesn't go off into 12:15, 12:20 in the morning. It's a 5-hour show. And you give the fans the ending that they gave at the end of that show, not alone people paying for this shit, to wait 5 hours to get the ending that they got. With the return of the Young Bucks, a team that we haven't seen since 2024. Coming out there, costing Swerve Strickland the championship, hitting with a BTE trigger, and Jon Moxley retains the championship. You made people sit through all that shit in order for that Jon Moxley outcome. Their storylines are not great. Outside of your Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay, outside of your Swerve and Hangman Page, outside of your Mariah May and Toni Storm, they have no really storylines that build any other players. None. WB is not included in either. Let's get on to the next exhibit. AEW pay-per-view length. I say this by far every time I review a pay-per-view from AEW. Tony Khan, it's like he don't see, like he got blinders on when it comes to pay-per-views. I've always said AEW hits with every pay-per-view they do. They hit it out of the park with every pay-per-view they do. But the problem with these pay-per-views still persists. They go on into after midnight when they start at 8 o'clock. It's taking me back to 2017, 2018, 2016 WWE, where they used to have shows run for 4 to 5 hours a night. Pay-per-views. Tony Khan, he always puts on 9 to 12 matches per pay-per-view card. Matches who don't have no business being on the card because they're not properly built up to be on the card. For Dynasty, for example, we had fucking 3 on-heart cut matches that really shouldn't have been on the show. I know you want to get the fans want to see Ospreay. I know they want to see Mercedes Moné. I know you want to get Kyle Fletcher on there, but those matches did not need to be on the show. Let me not get on Ring of Honor, please. Do we need to keep seeing Chris Jericho? I say this every time we see him. He did not need to be on the show. Unfortunately, the Hurt Syndicate did not need to be on the show. There's already 5 matches you asking from this card that did not need to be on the show. If you're going to put him on the show, put him on a 0-hour show. That way you get people in the buildings earlier. But Tony Khan, he just persistent on having these matches. These fucking pay-per-views go 6 to 5 hours every fucking pay-per-view. Time management is piss poor. And you result in some of these matches where the crowd has to take a breather. They be up so high, their energy level be up so high that where you get to another match, their energy level falls down and they just be quiet. Pure example, the Daniel Garcia Adam Cole match. Quiet as a fucking mouse in there until the finish. Why is that? Because you take these fans on a roller coaster up and you bring them right back down because you have so many matches. That's draining for human people. So AEW and WWE both need to get it together and stop making such lackluster products. So this is my reasons for why wrestling is lacking at the moment. In the biggest time of the year for all pro wrestling, WrestleMania season. And it feels anything but that. So if you made it to the end of this video, thank you very much. Leave a comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.